This broadcast, telecast, podcast, and whatever the hell else it is copyrighted by the Rad Network and the Rob and Steve Sports Show, all found at theradnetwork.com, and is for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction, accounts, or descriptions of this madness without the express permission of the Rad Network and Williams Broadcasting and Rob's Really Mean Lawyers is prohibited. So just don't do it. It's the Rob and Steve Sports Show, a show all about the thrill of Rob's victories.
Young almost falls down, throws to the end zone. Owens! Caught it! He caught it! Touchdown pass! Hello!
And sometimes even the thrill of Steve's victories.
This would be the fifth pennant for the Red Sox since that 1918 season. Here it is, ground ball to second. Reese, the Boston Red Sox have won the pennant. The Boston Red Sox earned this celebration here at Yankee Stadium with the biggest comeback in postseason baseball history.
And sometimes even the agony of Rob's defeats.
Good afternoon. We are here to introduce the new head coach of the San Francisco 49ers, Jim Tomsula.
Email the show at ras@theradnetwork.com. And now, the Rob and Steve Sports Show.
Welcome in. It's Thursday morning. A week from Monday is the trade deadline in Major League Baseball, and the rumors are all heating up, and we're in that spot we were talking about yesterday. Steve brought up how many, we have to deal with it. We just dealt with it with the NBA. Now, how many of these rumored trades are legitimately being discussed versus sports media wishes? Gee, we really hope that Tariq Skubal goes to the Brewers. Yeah, there we go. So we'll go through those later on in the show. We have to start with some updates, breaking news, follow-ups, and things we've been talking about this morning. Jacoby Brissett reported to Arizona Cardinals camp along with the rest of the team's veterans. That was yesterday. He reported today. We are waiting on information about whether the quarterback will what he's going to do while he's there, whether he'll be fined, or is he gonna, because there's this question of the starting quarterback, which is what Jacoby says he is or has been told he is, carries more responsibilities during camp. He didn't practice at all in the spring because he's looking for that revised contract that better reflects his status as the likely week one starter. And yesterday reported that Carson Beck of the Cardinals signed his, $7.5 million deal, locked in by the cap. So we continue, Steve, it's what seems to be the day-to-day look at the Arizona Cardinals. Is it a quarterback competition? Is it a race to sign a contract? Is what's his name yesterday? Carson Beck, he's saying all the right things. He wants to make it a quarterback competition. He wants to be part of it. It's the Cardinals. I get it. Probably the worst team in the NFL, but it's something to watch. I don't know. It's not even like as compelling as the Browns right now. At least we know there's two primary candidates. The Cardinals, hey, they got Jacoby Brissett. He's there. Now we got to see what happens.
Yeah, and it's going to be curious to see what happens. I mean, does he, I have a lower back injury. My back is tightened up, and I'm not able to practice today. That'd be great for Carson Beck, because now he's going to get second team reps as the first team reps are going to go to Gardner Minshew. Does Jacoby Brissett just go out and practice and we'll go for it? I'll let my agent, which is myself, deal with this in the team going forward. All of this doesn't make sense to me. I mean, the Cardinals, you don't want to pay him. Just say that Gardner Minshew's the quarterback and he's the starter on your depth chart right now, and say, Jacoby, right now you're battling as a backup and maybe you can be a starter. And if they really do want him to be the starter, I don't understand. Look, just give it in bonuses. You get X amount of starts, you get this amount of money, and just look, I'll give you $1 million for every start that you have. I'll give you 500,000 for every touchdown that you throw over interception. So if there's 7-7, you get nothing. But if you throw, 10 touchdowns to 7 interceptions, then we'll give you, 1.5 million. But I'd throw in the all-pro quarterback Shedeur Sanders clause of if you throw 7 touchdowns and 10 interceptions, then I'm going to deduct 1.5 million from. There's so many ways to do this. The fact we're still talking about this as we're coming up on training camp in the end of July doesn't make sense from either side. Just don't make him the starter, let him show up, or give him an incentive latent contract based on if he's going to be your starter for 17 weeks. Yeah, we'll give you 20 million, but you got to get there first.
We preach all the time. Franchises are based on ownership, management. That's how you create the right environment, the winning attitude, etc. This is a disaster so far from what we've seen with Arizona. Are the Cardinals on your list, Steve, of terrible franchises that don't have all of the structural things that we constantly preach they need to have?
It's really pretty simple. Just look at the bottom of the standings, or if you don't want to go put that much homework in it, look at what teams draft in the top 10 year in, year out. The Cleveland Browns, the Arizona Cardinals, the Detroit Lions were there for many years, the Las Vegas Raiders. You just go there, and that will tell you the ownership that is not doing what is best for the organization. And this one again falls on the Cardinals ownership. Just you could take care of this. Do you really think this would be going on with the Philadelphia Eagles or the San Francisco 49ers or the Baltimore Ravens? No, it wouldn't happen because they're solid organizations that are run by true football people.
Now, all of this is part of the next story because up until 15 minutes ago, about ish, right before we went on the air, the story was a little different as the media was reporting on Carson Beck having signed his deal yesterday. And as we said when that happened, that leaves three: Fernando Mendoza, Ty Simpson, and Drew Aller. They were the top four quarterbacks selected in the 26th draft. As the rookies continue to report, three of the four now, well, not now, as of 15 minutes ago, were unsigned. As of this morning, Carson Beck signed his contract. Then you got the Raiders appear poised to take a cautious approach. We've talked about it with Mendoza this year. Probably going to start with Kirk Cousins. We'll see when, if Mendoza gets in after he watches and he learns. Now he's the number one pick. He has a contract value of $57.2 million. That's not negotiable. That's what he gets paid. The issue is that bonus. That's where these kids get their payday, their first round draft pick money. And that is what's holding it. That as was reported 15 minutes ago. That's what was holding up Mendoza from signing his rookie deal with the Raiders, according to Joel Corey of CBS Sports and other sources. Mendoza's side wants what's traditional, what's normal: a signing bonus payment in a single lump sum. All right, you give me a $20 million signing bonus, give me $20 million. Single lump sum payments are customary for number one picks, but not the Raiders. Back to management, ownership. Raiders, they have a practice. They pay signing bonuses in installments, and they don't want to break precedent. Mendoza's side is opposed to starting a new precedent because number one picks have had their signing bonuses payment in a single lump sum. Simpson and Aller, they're represented by a different agency and a management agency. Everybody says they're waiting to see what the Raiders do with Mendoza. They kind of sort of don't have to wait, but a little bit based on what we know as of this moment. First overall pick, quarterback Fernando Mendoza signed his rookie contract about 15 minutes ago with the Raiders. We know it's a 4-year, $57.2 million guaranteed deal with a 5th-year option. That signing bonus is still out there. What did it'll leak? We'll know. Just as of this minute, we don't know yet. But Mendoza is signed with the Raiders. This should, right, Steve? The dominoes should fall today for the other, or tomorrow. By the end of the week, we should have Simpson done and what's his name, the other one. They should all be wrapped up, and there's no reason to just have any more drama over this.
No, they should all be wrapped up. They wanted to see what Mendoza got because that's going to dictate Ty Simpson and where he's going to go. And on this bonus thing, okay, so you're going to give it to me installments. That's where I would go to my financial advisor, Rob, and I would say, hey, look, they need to put this in an escrow account. They need to put it in a high yield interest bearing account, and they're going to pay me the interest for all of this, and then I'll take it in installments, but I want my money earning interest or whatever my financial advisor would advise me. I don't think this is the biggest point. He needs to get something because he needs to set up, where am I going to live? What am I going to do? Be comfortable with it. So he's comfortable going and just focusing on the Raiders. But if the Raiders aren't going to do it, then make them pay. You're not getting it tax free. You got to like give me the interest and everything else and throw a little Bobby Bonilla July 1st contract twist on this thing.
Yeah, I when I read this, I thought that there's an angle to this that's not making any sense, but we don't know yet the details, because to me it reminds me of the current Major League Baseball negotiations. I've said from the beginning, the players should just say, fine, you get your cap. And then everything else that the owners want, you say no. Okay, we're going to give you a cap. Now we're going to fight about the numbers, the cap, the floor, and the ceiling, and then everything else you bring up, arbitration change. No, tenure, no, because we gave you the cap. So the issue here with Mendoza, have you agreed on the amount? And if you have, which it sounds like you have, did you stick it to the Raiders for this exact reason? Oh, you're not going to do what the other teams in the league do? You're not going to follow precedent? Okay. Well, that's going to cost you in a variety of ways. A, instead of that $20 million bonus, we want $25 million. B, we're going to do what that Mickelson guy said after asking his buddy Rob. We want, I mean, really, guys, $25 million, at least 5, maybe more like $10 million up front, so that he can get his house, get settled. And then, yes, it shouldn't be that hard. I'm with you. When I read it, I'm like, how is this what's holding this up? Because now they've signed him. They've agreed on the number. Maybe that's what changed this morning. I don't know. Maybe they milked a little bit more out of him. But it's if the Raiders want to do that for whatever reason, you say fine, but here's how it's going to cost you.
And roll back to like 3 or 4 minutes ago. It's bad ownership. This is the president of the NFL. And what? The Raiders want to take a different route because they're bad ownership, which is why they draft in the top 10 picks every single season.
Other news by the way, we do, before I move on from that, there's been no change, right, on Team Rob and Steve. Kirk Cousins will start for the Raiders. The question, and we kind of went over it, I think, I know we did, we went through the AFC West or whatever. It's a question of when Mendoza gets in, and also how Cousins is playing and how the Raiders would respond what if Cousins somehow is making the Raiders win. Those are like all the variables that we were thinking, right?
Yes, and the other one is the standby. Depending on where the bye week is for the Raiders, he will start the first game coming out of the bye because that gives him extra time to take first team reps.
Is there, okay, I know how ludicrous this is. What do the Raiders do if Cousins has them like winning? Again, I know that's ridiculous, but even for if they're 4-2 or something like that, whenever they're looking at targeting Mendoza, what do the Raiders do if Cousins is doing well but they ain't going anywhere?
What the Raiders are hoping for is that, and if I'm a Raiders fan and Raiders management, that's what I'm hoping for too. I'd love to give Mendoza a redshirt freshman year with the Raiders and let him sit, let him go, let the Raiders compete. Cousins is doing a good job, and it allows him to learn, develop. We look at what Love has done with the Packers. We watched what Aaron Rodgers did with the Packers. I think there's something truly to allowing your quarterback to sit, absorb the league, figure out how to. It's such a change in lifestyle. It's the meetings, it's the all of these other things that are going on in your life, settling down, where are you going to live, what's going on there. Give them that opportunity to learn what the NFL life is at and not putting that pressure on them. My concern, which will never happen, is wouldn't it be awesome if the Raiders go like 12-5? Then what do? They're in the playoffs. They're a contending team. They end up winning the AFC Western Division. Again, fantasy land will never come close to happening. But wouldn't it be awesome if Kirk Cousins just like turned a miracle and became Kurt Warner suddenly with the Raiders, like Warner when he took
Well.
over for Trent Green, and then what do the Raiders do? But I think the best thing for Mendoza is to sit, ride it out, hope Cousins has a pretty good season, and then turn it over next year. Just like, Patrick Mahomes with Alex Smith, they did the same thing.
It would be great for us, just in terms of loving chaos, if the Raiders went 12-5. Yes, that I cannot even imagine. Now, you brought up the bye week, and that's the natural thing. The week after the bye week, you throw your rookie in. Now, the Raiders don't have a bye until the 13th week, so they're off the first weekend of December. So they've played at that point 12 games. You see 4 they could win in those 12. I don't have our unofficial official predictions. If Kirk Cousins is playing lights out, the Raiders can beat Miami at home, maybe beat the Saints in New Orleans, beat the Jets in New York, beat the Browns. Those are all road games, but they could. If Cousins is lights out, those 4, okay, I can see it. I'm not saying they're going to have those 4 wins at week 13. The rest of them, he would absolutely, Cousins would have to be out of his mind to go into that bye week. I think with more than 4 wins. I don't know how they don't get 4 and 8. Maybe they do, but they'd have to beat the Chargers. They'd have to beat the Rams, Kansas City, the Patriots, Buffalo, the Niners, Seattle, Denver. So it would be impressive if he was at 500, if he's 6-6, and he beat, let's say he beat something like Denver and somebody else right away in week 12 while they're off, we've got to be talking about it. We've got to be, depending on where everybody else is in the AFC West.
Okay, but put him at 4 and 8. I still think you have to consider that. And the thing that we have not discussed, and you and I have believed this forever, it's Kirk Cousins' career. Kirk Cousins puts up really good numbers, even though he may not win. He never wins the big game. He doesn't have any big games with the Raiders. They're never going to be on that Sunday night, Monday night game, so they don't have to worry about him choking on prime television. And if he continues what he's done throughout his career with solid numbers, they just isn't transitioning to a lot of wins. Why would you move off of that if he's completing 62% of his passes? At this point through 12 games, he's thrown for, 2,300 yards, 2,500 yards. He has as many, slightly more touchdowns than interceptions. That's what I think the Raiders would love to see. Give the appearance that he's playing really good at the quarterback position. We're just not winning games.
The Raiders are not scheduled for any prime timery this year. But, I mean, if Cousins is doing really well, wouldn't it be interesting, let's say week 15, they're doing well enough that they're in it, and now they flex the game where they host Denver in week 15. They flex it into prime time, and now Kirk Cousins does have a game to play for. The only way this happens is he's out of his mind, because this is out of his mind territory. If they're putting the Raiders in prime time in week 15, so they give him that, and then he does what we know he always does. He just collapses under being on prime time and loses out the rest of the year. There's a fun way for the Kirk Cousins story to continue.
And where I continue with this one, Mendoza. Okay. Are the Raiders going to compete this year?
No.
Are the Raiders going to compete next year?
I mean, not likely at this time.
No, they're not. So maybe 3 seasons from now, they might be able to compete. So let him redshirt, get comfortable this year. Let next year, if he starts, let him start the last 4 games of the season. The next year's his learning curve. Because I think if you're looking as the Raiders, you got to be looking 3 years down the road. You hope you hit big on the next 2 drafts and you become a contender at that time. And Mendoza's ready to take the reins, take over this team. You've given him a supporting cast, which goes back to what you and I talked about with Max Crosby. It doesn't make sense to me for the Raiders to hold on to Max Crosby if they can get a number 1 and for him at this point, because he's not going to do him any good this year. He's not going to do him any good next year. It's 3 years down the road before he's going to start, doing something. And just like, wasn't it Khalil Mack, the linebacker the Raiders had, that they traded him to the Bears for all of those draft picks? Treated the same way. Let's move him on, and let's let's get some draft capital. So in 3 seasons, maybe, just maybe, we can compete, but it's not going to happen if you're not even willing to pay the number one, the NFL standard, with a complete bonus up front.
Uh, I agree with the Max Crosby thing as a Niner fan, and the rumor being that the Niners are back in the mix to maybe acquire him. I think you're right, Steve. Max Crosby should be traded away from the Raiders immediately, only to the Niners, of course. I think it's a great idea. Another update, not really related to the Raiders, but one we've had out there. We've been talking about free agent quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, who was the backup in LA, and then he just sat unsigned, and they drafted Ty Simpson. And I don't know how those two things are related, but they don't need you anymore, Jimmy. He did consider retiring during the offseason, but he has now decided he will come back to play in the right situation. Nothing is imminent, and Garoppolo's agent acknowledges it might take a quarterback injury for him to sign somewhere, but we had talked about this. Garoppolo becomes not even this year's Phillip Rivers, because he's still active. He just played last season, but Garoppolo's saying, I'm first man up. You guys need me? Call me. I'll come in. Well, pending that you're a contender, but I'll come in if or maybe if you're not a contender. What do I care? I'm Jimmy Garoppolo.
And I think that's going to be the case. I don't think he's going to come back unless it is a contender. I think he views what Phillip Rivers did as the model to follow. Look, I don't have to worry about training camp. I don't have to. I can stay in shape, do what I want to do. If a contender comes in, I got a shot at playing in the playoffs. I can then go and join the team, take them from that point, move forward. And one of the things that I was reading on the Phillip Rivers, and this was last year when it was happening, that I thought was genius, is because he'd been out of the league, but because he came back and the amount of time he came back for, or whatever, or just playing, it kicked in his insurance again. So now he had insurance. I think it kicked in for 5 more years, if I remember the article correctly, because it was running out at the end of last season. So it's like, sweet, now I got family insurance for me and the kids for the next 5 years. The Phillip Rivers story was a great, great story.
So this year we have at least 2 high-profile veteran quarterbacks that have both said, I'll be by my phone. Now, Garoppolo's the easier one. He's a full-on free agent. Derek Carr, there's some issues over the Saints and some type of would you have to sort of thing. But those are 2 decent names. There's reasons they're not starting right now. Those are 2 decent names that were all, throughout the year. The minute a starting quarterback goes down, the announcers, well, you're calling Jimmy Garoppolo, you're calling Derek Carr. Those are going to be your 2 top ones. Meanwhile, yesterday, Carolina Panthers this was this morning. Carolina Panthers second year outside linebacker Nick Gordon has been carted off the field with an injury to his right knee on the team's first day of training camp. Gordon had an outstanding rookie season for the Panthers. 17 games, 8 starts, 47 tackles, 5 sacks, 9 quarterback hits. The exact nature of his injury is not known. Literally right now, the Panthers are still practicing. Scorton held his hand over his face as he was led into an awaiting cart, went down on a wet field in practice, grabbed onto his knee. Again, had a great rookie season. I don't know if any of us expect anything from the Panthers. We think everybody's a loser in the South except the Saints, who might go 9-8. But could affect his long-term career depending on the severity of it.
Yeah, it's not pretty on many fronts. The Panthers highly invested in him, expecting him to be a contributor to this year's team. If he goes down and he's lost for the season, you don't know how bad the injury is. Hopefully he will be able to return this season in time to play. And if not, if he even has to miss the season, hopefully he'll be okay to play down the road. The question I would ask is, you talking about how he is playing on wet conditions. What are they doing outside right now? Shouldn't they be in their training facility or something like that in air conditioning?
Is this we don't know, total speculation. Is this the coach? Well, you're gonna have to play in the rain at some point, and it's not raining that hard, and I can get away with this. I don't know. What are they doing outside? That's a good point.
Right. So you do that in September or October. You don't do it right now when a heat wave's, middle of summer hitting the entire country type of thing.
Yeah, and where do they practice? They practice in is it North Carolina? Yeah, they do. So because I was wondering, you bring up all the heat there in Charlotte. So they practice right where they play.
Yeah, which means they have their facilities. It'd be different if, like, the Cowboys who practice in whatever city just north of LA, Oxnard, California, and I don't even know if they still do, but like that. And it's that, hey, okay, they don't have an indoor facility, so they have to. But I'm in Southern California. What? We get up to 86 degrees and it rains once a year, so I don't have to worry about those things.
Right, and if you're the Carolina Panthers, you're right because we got this heat wave, and then there's the rain, which is that terrible, humid southern East Coast. Why? I can only think that somebody said, "Hey, we got to expose them to it. Let's do it." I mean, it's old school thinking, and I obviously the league officially has moved beyond that, and it sounds like even you are like as old school as we are. You're like, dude, it's late July, not now. Now is not first day. Maybe your rookie from last year goes down for the season.
Yeah, that's a tough one though.
What about Tyreek Hill? Is that a tough one? He dislocated his knee and multiple ligaments in week 4 last season against the Jets. He's 32 and says he was told he might not be able to walk again after that injury. He says he now feels good 10 months removed from 2 surgeries. Dolphins released him in February, making him a free agent. For the first time in his 10-year NFL career, he posted a video yesterday that showed him working out, but he did say, this is an odd way to court potential signing teams, he said he has, quote, no power, end quote, in his recovering left leg, indicating he could still be a long way from returning to the NFL. It's almost like Tyreek Hill becomes the wide receiver version of Jimmy Garoppolo. It's like, well, when you're healthy, maybe we'll call you if we need you. So because this is really lingering. And he's right. I do remember. I mean, it was a serious you might not walk injury, so it makes sense he's taking his time physically to get back.
Yeah, we saw this with OBJ. When he got hurt, and it was that, he wanted to be signed, but he was demanding being paid for the whole season. And the teams are like, we don't even know if you're going to be able to play this year. Why are we going to give you a big contract, guarantee it for the season if you can't play? The other part that concerns me with Tyreek Hill is the knee injury, the 2 surgeries, but he's made his money on his speed, his elusiveness. With the knee injury, who's to say he's even going to come back close to the same speed he was? And if he drops down to just very good speed for a wide receiver, but not the extreme speed that he's always had, is he worth it? So I understand no one out there right now offering him a contract. You're going to have to see him. You're going to have to put a stopwatch on him, find out how fast he can run, and watch him do the drills. And until that time, I don't think anyone's going to sign him.
Now, this update is total speculation, but once it got out there, it got a little traction, although that's only in the sense of, yeah, I could see it. That doesn't make it false, for sure. We've been following whatever Tom Brady's doing now. He's president of the Raiders. He's got his TB12 stuff, obviously head color commentator for Fox. And now he's doing this WWE thing, which just seems like an odd pivot. It's why this cartoonish, clowny WWE? What does it do, I guess, is the question. One of the arguments is, hey, he's a rich guy, middle-aged, he can do whatever he wants, fantasy camp, just shut up and let him be. While others are saying Tom Brady does everything because he thinks, he's planning, he's always been worried about his image. So why the WWE? That led to the speculation. Here we have a celebrity athlete, in this case an athlete, but a celebrity. He played a sport. He's famous. He's going to do some WWE stuff. He's got commercials. He's known. Is this just the next step in Tom Brady preparing to run for president? I mean, hey, we got a president who hosted a reality TV show, has a name, has a brand, did some WWE stuff, commercials. Why not me? Again, all speculation, but a lot of people going, well, we had the Make America Great Again hat with Brady at one point. Whether or not that means he's following Trump's lead or whatever, but he is a plotter, he is a planner. God, could he be setting this up for a shift to politics? Because we know he's informed, or he thinks he is. He's involved. When I saw it, I was like that guy. I was like, well, I don't think it's so, but it could be.
I don't buy it. And first, I want to go with the WWE thing. Is he going to be a wrestler? I mean, is he going to compete, or is he just a person doing the color and the announcing just to give another, because he does such an outstanding job as the color man with Fox. We got to add him to WWE. And if he's going to be a wrestler, who's he wrestling? I mean, seriously. We've
Logan
all.
Paul.
Oh, okay. And sorry,
Yeah.
Brady, but you're probably going to lose because you don't have a whole lot of muscle mass, and he's in unbelievable shape. I'm never going to knock that. But Tom Brady, when you're talking about guys who are built like brick houses, Tom Brady never ever enters the mind on who that could be. And as far as the politics go, he can do that now. We see, uh, Burgess Owens has run for political. I mean, we've seen it for many years. You don't even need to go and build it up if that's the route he's going. I mean, hey, wouldn't it be great if like in 2032 we see Mark Cuban run against Tom Brady for our presidency? Wouldn't that just complete the circle that it's pure entertainment, pure joke, and we really don't have any serious politicians left in our country?
And I know the argument from the again, none of this is coming from the Brady camp, but the argument from people that think this is what Brady's doing, a lot of people say, well, hey, does he look around and realize politicians have been doing a horrible job according to people? Americans hate their politicians, lowest approval ratings for everybody. Why don't I do it? How about just a regular, quote regular guy? That's one of the thought process. You bring up you don't chiseled body and such like that. No, he's a retired athlete. But boy, if you want to tell me to look at a retired athlete who's in Tiger Woods right away, he's still in great shape, chiseled, things like Brady ain't that. But yes, the rumor is he would wrestle. He would. This is it's all rumors. That's why he set up the slap of Logan Paul, the middle finger to Logan Paul. They've been going back and forth on social media. There'll be some type of match where he'll face off, and of course it'll all be scripted and however they want it, whatever direct. Is this Tom Brady's chance to become a bad guy? They make him a bad guy character instead of the all-American boy. I don't friggin' know or care, but whatever.
But I don't see either one. I mean, is Logan Paul, with everything he does, going to accept defeat in the fight? No, because that would be off brand. It's kind of like, Mayweather. Mayweather's never coming out in any bout that he feels he could lose because his undefeated mark still sits there, and you will never put that in jeopardy. And Brady, I'm going to join the WWE. Yeah, I love the villain side. Hey, look, let's make him a villain. But you ain't going to be a very good villain if you can't ever win. So I don't see who would win by losing in that fight. I just don't see it. And to have the fight to be a draw so we can set up, match 2, match 3. It's like, really, is there any interest truly in that?
I look, the WWE is, as within its fan base, doing well, popular. I don't know that, how much Brady would bring new interest into it. It is ultimately, because it's WWE, everything's negotiable. So if they wanted to make it Logan Paul loses, they would say, and here's how we're going to play that out for you, Logan. Or there's another way. It's wrestling. No, Logan Paul won't lose. Someone else will enter the ring illegally and knock Brady down with a chair, and that'll start a new rivalry. It won't be Brady and Logan Paul. Maybe it'll be whoever came in and slapped Brady, and they can continue the storyline in this stupidity.
And let's just branch it out into the retired athletes of WWE. If you're going to go that route, bring in the celebrity athlete. Wouldn't it be cool to see Jason Kelsey wrestle Travis Kelsey and just say, here you go? I think people would pay money for that. And then after the match, then they team up and they become the tag team and their family. And you could go at these different, I just sitting here thinking about it, I think there is that wing of this that you could go after the celebrity part, and just because they are who they are, scripted into WWE and bring out the retired football players, basketball. Shoot, LeBron can go, and he can go, and maybe we can set up a match with him, and I don't, Gonzalez, the tight end, Tony Gonzalez, and maybe we could bring in, something like that to happen. We got this Hall of Fame football player versus the greatest of all time. And I might actually watch it just to see how comical it is. So there you go, WWE. There's a business plan right there.
If you really branch it out, going down there's the possibilities are endless. Former players on competing studio shows. Howie Long can wrestle Nate Burleson. I mean, there's endless things. And by the way, the Kelsey brothers would be first in line to your idea going, oh yeah, we'll do that. I mean, that is so on brand for them.
Yes, it is. We could bring back the battle of the network stars and remember when they used to have that? And I don't know if you ever watched it, but I watched it every week. It was great. This is our version for, pro athletes.
Right on.
Rob and Steve continue next, only on the radnetwork.com.
The first time Corey walked into my home, I came around the corner, extended my right hand to shake it, and said to him, "Wow, you're big." And that would be Corey from QuickDumpsters.com. Quick is spelled wrong intentionally. Quick, QUI, can charge and removed dozens of boxes of total junk, unusable dog kennels, desks that were falling apart, a worthless old smoker that couldn't be fixed, bag after bag of crap, and I can't remember what else. He was quick, spelled wrong, QUIK, quiet and clean. Well, he wasn't clean. I mean, he was. But I'm not commenting on his hygiene. I meant that his work was clean. He swept everything when he was done, and the house looked like he'd never even been there. Corey's the real deal, and I couldn't be more proud and happy to call him a brand new advertiser. His story is incredible, his dedication unmatched, and his motivation to succeed larger than he is, and that's saying something. Quotes are free. You don't even have to have them over to your house. Just send him some pics or videos, and you'll get your price, schedule your day and time, and watch someone else get that junk out of your house. Go to QuickDumpsters.com. Quick, QUIK, Dumpsters.com. Quick, QUIK, Dumpsters.com. Longtime maggots will remember Greg from MAP, M-A-P, as in Maximum Athletic Performance, which guides you to better output through better ingredients, also known as nutrition. Greg has been on the Rad Show many times and will be again, as he simplifies nutrition and helps us all understand what actually works when it comes to fueling our bodies, almost all of which can be found at maptrition.com. Every product is formulated with clinical precision and backed by science and purpose, and maptrition.com has something for every fitness level, even those of us who barely have a fitness level. With nearly 20 years as a nutritionist and a specialization in sports nutrition, Greg works with athletes and everyday individuals to optimize performance, energy, and overall health through smarter fueling strategies, all of which starts at maptrition.com. At the very least, we should all be taking daily multivitamins, and Greg has his formulated for exactly what a man or woman's body needs. Protein is in, but maybe instead of getting yours from mac and cheese with extra protein, you get it from maptrition.com. And of course, all things workout, training, and exercise are available as well. From pre-workout to creatine and other muscle builders to recovery supplements and more, all at maptrition.com. From morning breakfast essentials to post-workout recovery and everything in between, maptrition.com's full range of supplements, proteins, and wellness products are built to power your journey from start to finish. Check out all the products and find what's right for you and order it shipped to you all at maptrition.com. That's maptrition.com.
Steve has been running sports books for decades, and Rob spent decades running radio so far into the ground he just created his own network. This is the Rob and Steve Sports Show on the Rad Network.
A couple of Major League Baseball games underway during the day. We'll do a full baseball report here in a few minutes. Right now, bottom of the eighth. The Padres are trying. They scored a couple in the top of the eighth. It's now 6-5. The Braves are over the Padres in Atlanta. And in the bottom of the sixth in Cleveland, the Howardians are up. Wow, 1-0 over the Twins. A two-hitter being thrown by whoever the hell the Cleveland started, because I don't have that in front of me.
Gavin
but I bet
Williams.
Steve might. There it is. Gavin Williams. All right. By the way, one other baseball update before we do the whole thing in a minute. Steve had mentioned yesterday and today, MLB.com came out with their weekly power rankings for hitters. They have a panel of MLB voters, MLB.com voters, and it just caught my eye. Just a bunch of sports media eggheads sitting around. Well, it was unanimous. It ain't even close either. Yordan Alvarez remains in the top spot for the fourth straight poll of the latest hitter power rankings in Major League Baseball by a unanimous decision. And they all mentioned what you did, Steve, the Triple Crown watch. Alvarez holds command over the AL batting leaderboards through yesterday's games. His 328 average is 20 points ahead of Yandy Diaz for the Rays. He has 34 home runs. That's 4 ahead of the Yankees' Ben Rice. And he's 6 ahead of Rice with 77 RBI. Long way to go to predict a Triple Crown winner, but Alvarez is there. He's hot, and it's something to watch. And it adds in, I think this is what you were talking about yesterday with the Astros, trying to figure out why they just can't get on that run. Trade deadline coming up. Alvarez having this amazing year.
Yeah, you can't move on from Alvarez. I've been comparing him to Frank Thomas for many years. Big guy, DH, great eye, can hit for power, draws walks, and is just a true natural hitter. I love watching him play. He's been one of my favorite players in the game since he hit the big leagues. Hopefully he can stay healthy. That's been a little bit of his problem. And I think with this 34th home run, I don't know where Schwarber's offhand, but his 34th home run that he hit yesterday, I think that puts him one ahead of Schwarber. I think Schwarber's at 33.
So he would have the major league lead then.
I think he might have the major league lead in that category.
Well, hold on a minute, and I'll tell you. What? Oh, no, there we go. Yes, that is correct. He has 34. Yordan Alvarez does going into today's play. Kyle Schwarber has 33. Everybody else is under 30. So, yeah, he's the major league leader.
Wouldn't it be really cool if he won the Triple Crown for Major League Baseball?
Yes.
Not just the AL. It would be something if he could win it for all of baseball. Highest batting average, home runs, RBI for every player in both leagues.
He's 4 points behind for batting average to Otto Lopez of the Marlins. And for runs batted in, he is first in all of the So he's first in 2 of them, homers and RBI, and he's only 4 back for batting. End of July. We'll see.
Yeah, if Otto Lopez can fall back to the player that the Giants, valued and let go for nothing, then maybe we got a shot versus the Otto Lopez, who's an all-star, who's been playing with the Marlins that the Giants let go for nothing.
Always getting those that was 2 of them, little digs.
Yeah.
Digs. Whether it's the Giants or anybody else, those dumbasses, they got rid of them. Other updates. We talked about it yesterday. Chicago star Connor Bedard, who's 21, drafted overall by the Blackhawks first, signed his 5-year, $75 million extension as a restricted free agent, and immediately began saying, hey, what if we brought back Patrick Kane? He's a free agent. Let's bring him back. And sure enough, they have agreed, the Blackhawks and Patrick Kane, to a 2-year contract. Average annual value $8 million. He won 3 Stanley Cups in Chicago. He's second all time in points, third in goals and games played for the Blackhawks. We talked about it yesterday, Steve. More than nostalgia, good move for Chicago. Maybe not, but certainly it's what Bedard wants, and that might be the most important thing.
It's a good move for the Blackhawks. It gives them that veteran leadership and they go forward. The part that surprised me, as you said, it's $8 million a year. He signed it, if I'm correct, he signed a 2-year, $16 million contract, but he only was making $4 million a year last year with the Red Wings. So why did the Blackhawks take him up? And he had been with the Red Wings like 3 years, and I think all 3 years were a 1-year contract. Why suddenly did they feel the need to double his contract from $4 million to $8 million?
Well, I guess the starting question is, would somebody else have? Or were they bidding against themselves?
I think they're bidding against themselves. I think Kane went, oh, sweet. Bedard wants me here. Let's double my salary. Let's make as much money as I can. They're putting me in that leadership role. Let's go get it. If he was signing 1-year contracts with the Red Wings, it means every year he was an unrestricted free agent. And if he's re-signing with the Red Wings, it means nobody most likely is bidding more money for that. And he even came out and said, I thought it was prior to this, that if he's the only two teams he'd consider signing for were Chicago and Buffalo, because I believe he's from the Buffalo area. And if it
Yep.
isn't Buffalo, it's wherever he's from, which
No, it
means
is.
you're down to two teams. And I just don't see Buffalo looking to spend $8 million a year for it. So yes, back to, I think Chicago was bidding against themselves.
But in the end, you like the move. It's just the
I do.
financials you don't understand. Okay.
I do. The financials I don't understand, but I also believe that don't care about the other. If I got the money and this is the player I want, and this is what we have, and it's perceived by people like me to overpay, who cares? It's who I want. We have the room. Spend the money. Be done with it.
Now, we had the opportunity the other day to do some positive, old school WNBA reporting. Caitlin Clark played out of her mind, etc., in a season that's just been completely, seemingly soiled already by on and off the court shenanigans and fouls and penalties and screams of racism from both sides, and the WNBA seemingly trying to expand too quickly after finally getting everything right with their contract. Well, the good news seems to be like teetering. Caitlin Clark, the same, has picked up her 7th technical foul of the season last night as the Fever destroyed the Sun 123-88. But that means she is one technical away from receiving an automatic 1-game suspension. The only other player in the WNBA like that is Angel Reese, who's tied with the same number of technicals. The Fever were leading 95-67 late in the third. Clark was being defended by Sanaya Rivers, the guard for the Sun, and Clark dribbles across the top of the key. She draws a reach-in foul, and as Clark tosses the ball to the official, Rivers gestures towards her. They start to exchange words, and they're both assessed technical fouls. So now, I don't think Caitlin's going to play the rest of the season without another one, but when she gets one, suspension. A lot of people now, I saw dueling stories between NBA.com, USAtoday.com, ESPN. On one hand, this is more of the overly targeting of Caitlin Clark. On the other hand, people are saying we need to stop acting like Caitlin Clark is innocent. She's not. She's bringing some of this on to herself. Whatever. That's what's out there. Any thoughts other than?
I kind of go on both. I think Caitlin Clark does bring this on her. I think she has that attitude. So she's going to get suspended. What Draymond Green gets it every year. He misses games due to technicals. Luka, the NBA goes and postpones his suspension because we got a huge Friday night game on national TV. So we're going to pull it away, and then we'll allow you to be suspended for that next game against, the Utah Jazz or something like that. The technicals isn't a big deal. I do think that the refs need to be more aware of who she is and watching it, because she does get some cheap shots that are taken at her that don't get called, that need to get called, because they need to take control of the game and just don't permit that. But I don't think I've ever felt that Caitlin Clark shouldn't get any of the technicals she's received. She should. I have no problem with it. So I fall in between the two. I think both camps have a little bit of truth to what they're saying, and Caitlin's not an angel.
No, and no, that's Angel Reese.
Yes.
And that's actually to the point of what you're saying. When you're throwing out these NBA names that get their little technical suspensions every year, you're not throwing out names where people go, who? Same thing in the WNBA. Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark. When you're at the top of the echelon, you're one of the best players. And when you're targeted, which both Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark are, as best, you're more likely to find yourself in a scenario where you're going to get into technical trouble. It's like you said, I think this is one of those casual basketball fan things. Oh my God, a technical? It's like, it's no big deal. It's nothing. It's not a technical to keep you out of the next game of the playoffs, like everybody was worried about, with was it Wemby or whatever. That's not it. It's a big deal. It's a non-story, except for everything else going on.
Yes, except for Draymond when he gets suspended for Game 5 and he can't play. It becomes a big deal.
Right. NBA insider Jake Fisher reports that 3-time All-Star Bradley Beal may want to tie his next landing spot to a friendship of his, like maybe Celtic star Jason Tatum. Beal, 5 years older than Tatum, was a mentor to him. Bradley Beal has several options, according to Fisher, and I do think this is Mr. Fisher talking. I do think there is some Miami interest, and I wouldn't rule out Boston for Beal because of the connection with Jason Tatum. Bradley Beal's another one of those guys I go, oh yeah, he is still playing, isn't he? But what is the do you like either of these moves? Do you think, oh yeah, okay, Celtics, oh Heat? I mean the Heat.
I could see the Celtics. I mean, they signed Mike Conley. I thought Mike Conley washed out of the league like 8 years ago, but he's still sticking around. I think Beal would be an upgrade there. Miami needs something out of this guard position. So, but you can't go there until you find out LeBron and how much money he's gonna make, and so LeBron's still holding even Bradley Beal hostage, not just the fans.
And on that point, although it is an edict, I could have found a completely unsubstantiated story, but the truth is, even though by law we're supposed to bring you a LeBron update when we mention the NBA offseason, there's nothing. We're just sitting there waiting for LeBron. His agent, Rich Paul, says he's not going to be rushed into this. They're debating over, how would the Warriors get 60 national games if he went there? Oh, if he brings the Cavaliers, put him on the Heat. We don't know. There's just endless speculation is all we're getting, and nothing new.
So is the story that the Miami Heat posted on social media somewhere, the organization, true, or did that not happen? Because that's the LeBron news that I heard was this. Oh, they accidentally posted on on social media the press conference for the announcing of signing LeBron James or whatever it was on July 27th. Oops, sorry, that was a total mistake. We didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, that's the story. The Miami Heat, it did happen. They posted a link to the live stream, which they titled LeBron James Introductory Press Conference, which if you saw that, oh my God, the Heat are going to introduce LeBron. He's coming back. Followed by the date of July 27th. That was posted to its YouTube channel in what a team spokesperson said yesterday was a mistake. The club's social media department was preparing for the possibility of James signing and mistakenly posted the link to the team's YouTube page, which was later deleted.
And as you know, I'm not on social media. I don't deal with it. I don't know how it works. I have nothing to do with social media. Is it even possible to make a mistake and oops, I didn't even mean to post that?
No, but no.
Okay.
I mean, okay. No one that's in a position to have the ability to post something should not know that the answer is no to that. In other words, if you could do it, but you obviously aren't trained at it, it's more likely, having seen too many of these stories, it's kind of like what we talk about with the Kalshi and the prediction market thing. There are people down the trough. If you tell people, hey, Bob, go tell Linda and have Linda tell Tracy, our social media gal, to get a post ready in case LeBron signs with us. Well, you've got 4 people. Did any of them say anything to anyone? And they go, wouldn't it be funny? You mean, and then you find out later an employee posted it as a gag or who knows what nefarious. But there's the Heat's claiming they didn't know. It's possible. It is possible that some underling did it. You're right. It stinks. It's like,
okay, that makes a little bit more sense because and I can't verify this story. It's a story from a friend. When they're building Allegiant Stadium, somebody I know had a friend who was working for the Raiders to build the stadium, and he's up like in the rafters helping with the roof and all of that. And he was wearing a Broncos hat, and they got the field under there or whatever. And he takes the picture saying, see, I'm working for the Raiders, but I'm still loyal to the Broncos or something to that, and posted it on social media. And ultimately lost his job. Didn't understand why he lost his job, but come on, you don't go work for the Raiders and put on social media that you're wearing Broncos stuff. So it was probably like an intern or something like that. You said just, hey, here's my 5 minutes of fame. Let's go do it. And, I can let all my friends know that I was the one who did it.
Yeah, and in the interns' case, if that's what happened, they're all hoping. Well, there's so many of us, or they won't track it, or we all log in under the same number. The idiot who posts his hat, that's just dumb. I mean, that you're
Yes.
doing it. You should see that coming.
Rob and
That's,
Steve continue next, only on the radnetwork.com.
Longtime maggots will remember Greg from MAP, M-A-P, as in Maximum Athletic Performance, which guides you to better output through better ingredients, also known as nutrition. Greg has been on the Rad Show many times and will be again, as he simplifies nutrition and helps us all understand what actually works when it comes to fueling our bodies, almost all of which can be found at maptrition.com. Every product is formulated with clinical precision and backed by science and purpose, and maptrition.com has something for every fitness level, even those of us who barely have a fitness level. With nearly 20 years as a nutritionist and a specialization in sports nutrition, Greg works with athletes and everyday individuals to optimize performance, energy, and overall health through smarter fueling strategies, all of which starts at maptrition.com. At the very least, we should all be taking daily multivitamins, and Greg has his formulated for exactly what a man or woman's body needs. Protein is in, but maybe instead of getting yours from mac and cheese with extra protein, you get it from maptrition.com. And of course, all things workout, training, and exercise are available as well. From pre-workout to creatine and other muscle builders to recovery supplements and more, all at maptrition.com. From morning breakfast essentials to post-workout recovery and everything in between, maptrition.com's full range of supplements, proteins, and wellness products are built to power your journey from start to finish. Check out all the products and find what's right for you and order it shipped to you all at maptrition.com. That's maptrition.com. If you've never heard of microseal, let me tell you what it isn't. It is not a really small marine mammal. Get it? A micro seal? Oh, fine. Just ask AI. AI describes microseal this way with a bunch of AI words. Microseal is a premium, eco-friendly, and biodegradable fabric protection spray that penetrates deep into fibers to provide permanent stain, soil, and sun fade resistance for rugs, furniture, and delicate fabrics. It uses nanotechno blah 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 and blue 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 blue. What AI is trying to say is that microseal is non-toxic, non-allergenic, safe for pets and children, and although AI doesn't say this, it should, you need to contact a longtime maggot Joel from AdvantageSteam.com right now to get him to apply microseal for you. You can even make appointments online at AdvantageSteam.com. We've had microseal for years at Williams Manor, and it treats a lot more than carpets. Microseal protects virtually all fibrous materials, including wool, cotton, silk, suede, leather, and synthetic fabrics. It protects upholstery, carpets, rugs, draperies, and clothing, including wedding dresses. And ladies, you're going to need what? 3 or 4 of those in your lifetime. And it protects against stains, moisture, and UV degradation without changing the texture. Also, if you're an interior designer, Joel has a special program just for you, and all you have to do is say the password, which is what? But there's no password, I guess. Never mind. Whoever you are, contact Joel at AdvantageSteam.com. And if you're an interior designer, tell him, I guess. I don't know. That's AdvantageSteam.com, where you'll learn more about microseal and everything else that Joel offers. At AdvantageSteam.com, that's AdvantageSteam.com, AdvantageSteam.com.
This is the Rob and Steve Sports Show. Call the show at 888-587-5355 or email the show at ras@theradnetwork.com.
The Braves held off and held on off the Padres. Braves have won 6-5 in Atlanta. The Howardians are still up 1-0 now in the top of the 8th. There's only 5-6 games today. We'll talk more about them as we work our way through Major League Baseball. The A's, there's a meme going around. It's a picture of Jason Karada Grauer, this hot utility infielder that they called up who you can't keep out of the lineup. He's hitting like 419 in 16 games. And we played you the video earlier this week when he took a shot. He was at bat, hits the ball off the plate, and it goes right into his groin. And when you watch it as a man, you go, oh, it's that spot. And he went down, and he finished the at-bat, finished the inning, then ultimately came out. So there's a picture going around, a meme of Jason Karate Grauer. He's on the ground, and he's got his right arm out on the ground, and his left arm is basically reaching for his crotch. And the meme is sending the same message, depending on how it's worded. Since 2021, the Athletics have more ruptured testicles than playoff appearances. That's the meme that's going around because they have no playoff appearances since 2021. It's only 5 years ago. But they have 2 ruptured testicles. Karada Grauer's not the first. Daryl Hernandez also suffered this in 2024. And they haven't been to the playoffs since 2020 or whatever. Yeah, 2020 playoff. So there's that going on.
Okay, but how many playoff appearances prior to that? So if they went in 2020 and 2021, say that's 2 in a row, which would put them at a tie. Let's say they didn't make the playoffs from like 2010. They could say they've had as many ruptured testicles as the A's have since 2010 type of thing as playoff appearances. I think you can make it look a little bit worse unless the A's made it about 3 times in a 4-year span.
Meanwhile, the A's also decided to, of all the players left that are healthy, there's only a few, and they decided to take one and go, yeah, put him on the IL too. JT Gang, again, right-hander for the A's, placed on the IL yesterday. He's got a blister on his middle finger. That's this one, of his pitching hand. And the A's have a season-high 11 players on the injured list. And when I texted you to Steve, what did you said? They're all falling. It's just the whole thing is just falling apart entirely for the A's.
Yeah, I think I also added in they need to go get Martin Perez when the Braves release him this time and bring him over to the A's because look, the Braves bad game 7-6. Braves still won his start. Maybe there's a little hope. They just need innings pitchers now. And you know, sorry to knock on yesterday, but 2/3 of an inning, 8 runs. It's just, they're not getting anything. Even Gage Jump had a bad outing. They're not getting pitching anywhere. And now that JT Ginn is on the shelf, I don't even know what they do. I don't recall a team with this bad of pitching. And you've already called up everyone in the minors that can possibly help contribute this year. I don't know where you go.
I did hear somebody, or I read somebody yesterday, last night, was saying, look at Double-A. Just start.
Oh, that was me too. I said you got to just go to Double-A now. I think everybody at Triple-A has already been called up. Go down to Double-A.
A's are off tonight, as are most of the major league teams. They'll start a weekend series in Minnesota. And just to highlight where they're at right now, for the games that start tomorrow, the Padres and the A's are the only ones who are undecided. The A's don't know who to throw because they're like, do we have it? Who's throwing? We don't know. So they'll take today off and move now to the pitching thing and to the A's. And are they building for 28 when they're in Vegas, 27 if there's a season, whatever. The St. Louis Cardinals, stay with me on this, held on for a 1-0 victory over the Angels last night. Angels starter Reed Detmers blanked the Cardinals on 1 hit through 5 innings despite walking 2 to open the 5th. The reason I bring it up, the Angels don't matter. The Cardinals we'll talk about more in a little bit. Ty Detmers, we were going through yesterday, most likely trade possibilities, and I can only mention a few by name, but Detmers is the 11th most likely to be traded according to Buster Olney and Jeff Passan of ESPN. They've got him at a 50% chance, 2 years under contract after 26. Detmers has the 4th most strikeouts in the big leagues behind Mizorowski, Sanchez, and Dylan Cease. Now, a dozen teams are listed as being interested. The A's are one of them. I don't think that's relevant. Everybody wants a starting pitcher. It's a matter of who has what to move. God, I mean, just for Reed Detmers, get out of Los Angeles. You deserve better than the Angels, and there's a bunch of teams that could use him.
And the only reason he's 50-50 is because of ownership and Artie Moreno. He may want to hold on to him just like he did Shohei Ohtani. Let's turn down Junior Caminero in as part of a package, not even a Caminero straight up for 2 months of Ohtani. Let's just go nowhere and not take anything back and lose him to the Dodgers. But Reed Detmers has to get traded out of LA. They have no minor league system. They have nothing. He is a valuable chip. Try something to start rebuilding the franchise so maybe you can compete in 5 years.
Yesterday, we also had Major League games going on during our show and kept you updated as best we could. And one of the things we were watching was the Red Sox game. Game 1 ended, and at that point, the last time the Boston Red Sox had won 15 straight games, Ted Williams was running out his MVP season in 1946 and leading them to an American League championship. Yesterday, the Red Sox matched that streak in the early game from 80 years ago. They beat the Orioles 6-3 in the opener of the doubleheader they had to play because of all the weather and the storms, and that's why there were 3 of them scheduled yesterday or whatever. But the Orioles ended Boston's franchise tying 15-game streak, beating them in the nightcap 5-1. That is the Red Sox first loss since July 1st. As a Red Sox fan, Steve, you said from the beginning what you say about all these streaks. You go on one, how bad is the reverse? How bad is the recovery? So the Sox have lost 1 in a row now, despite this incredible run. 7 games back of the Rays and right there for the wild card. As a Red Sox fan, how you feeling? How you feeling now?
I have not even looked to see who they play this weekend. I'm a little concerned. I'm hoping we can win 1, if not 2 of the 3-game series. I just don't want a big, long losing streak. We've watched the Cubs do that roller coaster thing all season long, and it's tough to handle. We win 12 in a row. We lose 10 in a row. We win 9 in a row. We lose 12 in a row. It's tough. The game they lost, they gave up 4 in the top of the first. The game was pretty much over at that point. And Bradish has been really good on the road. His whip on the road is under 1. His whip at home, where he has not been very good, I think is at like 1.5, something to that extent. So Bradish on the road, where he performs very well this year, going up against, already spotted a 4-0 lead. It was done, and it was time. The Red Sox finally lost, and they just need to find a way to win Friday to not put me in panic mode.
Right? That's the best quote quote outcome. Win Friday. And even if then you go 500 for a week or two, just don't go 7 in a row. Loss.
Right. Don't give it back. Everything you just accomplished. If you go and play 500 baseball the next 2 weeks without any extended losing streaks, hey, look, you're still right there now. You're 3 games above 500. You're in the wild card chase. We have hope again to make the playoffs. Just don't give it back.
As of right now, the Boston Red Sox would be your 3rd American League wild card team behind the Yankees and the Howardians, the Mariners 2-back, and the Orioles 3-back. You mentioned this weekend the Red Sox are off today. And then over the weekend, they will host, so they're at home, they're at Fenway, the now last place Toronto Blue Jays for the weekend at Fenway.
Because the Rays are on the verge of sweeping the Blue Jays, which, but if the Rays go and sweep the Blue Jays, and I know the Blue Jays are in a lot of trouble, last thing I need then is the Blue Jays to come back and sweep the weekend series in Boston. That would take a lot of shine off that 15-game winning streak. But I think the Blue Jays win today. I think they go in, and now Red Sox win 2 out of 3, although the Blue Jays have always played the Red Sox tough in Fenway.
For what it's worth, we'll preview the game tomorrow, but tomorrow's series opener, Toronto will be throwing you savage against Boston to start the series. Meanwhile, the New York Yankees, Jose Caballero, we talked about him a few times this week, and he's now been, some would say, targeted by Major League Baseball, but this is the guy we told you about, where a bunch of teams are just tired of his routine of waiting to acknowledge the pitcher just before the pitch clock reaches 8 seconds, which by rule, that's when the batter has to be ready. And Caballero has turned this into like an art form to where right at 9 seconds or 8.5 seconds, that's when he will make eye contact with the pitcher, which kind of sets the frame. Well, last night, plate umpire Quinn Walcott charged Caballero with a pitch clock violation in the 6th, led to a strikeout, and hitting coach James Rowson being ejected. as New York lost their opener. This is in the opener of their doubleheader against the Pirates. MLB umpires Wednesday said that his regiment amounts to deception, and they're not going to deal with it anymore. Aaron Boone, his own manager, give him points for honesty, said, quote, he's talking about Caballero. He's one of those guys I would yell at from the dugout. He's a pest. I didn't like it. Now I like him because he's on our side, end quote. Okay.
And it's true. It's like Draymond Green. It's like Dennis Rodman. If he's on your team, you love him. If he's not, you're against him. He found a loophole in the rules. I think what he's doing is 100% legal. He's not doing anything he can't do. He's just found a way to exploit it, get in the pitcher's minds because they know he's going to do it every plate appearance. So they're already expecting it. They're irritated. I said yesterday, if the pitchers hate it that much, let them police themselves. You go and you take a few in the back at a certain point, or you're going to say, look, I'm going to take 163, hit by pitches through the year and it's helping my team. Or is it going to say my back can't take anymore because I keep getting hit and it hurts?
Now Caballero, for what it's worth, he says he's being singled out. He's being targeted. And in cracking down on him, MLB itself, right now, MLB, the institution, is supporting the umpires and citing a provision in its pace of game procedures that states, quote, conduct by batters designed to deceive a pitcher into beginning their windup or coming to the set position in violation of these regulations shall be considered circumvention. Boy, a lawyer wrote that. But they're saying he's doing it. You're right. Yes, he is doing it intentionally. Mm-hmm. That's the whole point. You put it in the rules. It's in the rules. You have until 8 seconds. He's intentionally waiting until then. Where's the deception? That's my follow-up to the umps. And maybe they have an answer.
And my understanding is the home plate umpire also told Aaron Boone when they were having this discussion that Major League Baseball told them before the game, they're going to start enforcing it. This is it. So he shouldn't have been that surprised. He should have expected it, knowing it was coming in that game if he did it. And I don't know what at bat it was or what pitch it was. Inning. Okay, sixth inning. So they let it go a little ways, and I'm going to keep doing it until they do it. And then he threw his fit like, I would too, even though I knew it was coming, because I want to make my stance of, I'm following your rule book. I'm playing by your rules, and now you're penalizing me. That's not right. But he knew it. Everyone knew it was coming on that Yankees team.
And there is a video that's gone viral, if you care enough, that it's really well put together of Aaron Boone's conversation with Quentin, what's his name, the home plate umpire, and it has full sound and subtitles. And yes, that's exactly one of the things that was said. And it's kind of like when the first time I saw it, I went, wow, more honesty, more transparency. The home plate umpire is like, hey, MLB's cracking down. We told you. They told us we're cracking down.
And that transparency is wonderful. Use the technology, be transparent. We've been harping on this for a long time. It's great to see it.
MLB says we're not targeting Caballero. We're targeting anyone. He's just the one that does it all the time. Yankees, meanwhile, are 2.5 back of the Tampa Bay Rays. They've won 7 out of 10. They're off today. The Yankees are. And they will start a weekend series tomorrow. Big one. They're in Philadelphia for the weekend. That'll be a fun one to watch because we got 2 teams right there in it. Wild card, division winner. What's it going to be? We'll talk about that obviously a lot more tomorrow. With if I didn't tell you anything else, Steve, think of a catcher, right? A catching position. Not think of a catcher. You're a catcher in Major League Baseball. You've played over 1,800 games in 15 years. You're a good catcher. You've got a career average of 261. You've hit 317 home runs. You did win a World Series. You were the MVP in the World Series by a unanimous vote. 261 average, 317 home runs, World Series MVP, Hall of Famer based on those stats?
No, because I want to know defensively how good you were, if you were a liability, if you were a catcher like a Jim Sundberg, who had a really long career and was a great catcher defensively as well, then I would probably push you over. If you're a Jorge Posada catcher that you really weren't very good defensively, you played on a really good team with the Yankees through the Mariano Rivera and Derek Jeter years, and you had good numbers, but you weren't anywhere near leading the team, I would not push you over the threshold.
I'll leave it to you to decide then. Salvador Perez. He tied the Royals' franchise home run record. And in the process, the Kansas City Royals got a 5-4 victory over the Giants yesterday. Perez hit his 14th home run of the season, his 317th of his career. That ties George Brett's Royals franchise record. That's what leads ultimately to Royals manager Matt Quattaro creating this viral thing by saying, I love that guy. What he does, the way he goes about it, the passion he plays the game, it's unrivaled. The guy's a Hall of Famer, and you're getting to witness it, end quote. Well, okay, he's the manager. He's going to say that. But then everybody jumps on it. Is he? Is Salvador Perez, now he's saying he is a no-hitter. Maybe he means when he's done he will be. Do you have him on your list, Steve? Of, oh, yeah, he's on the bubble. We'll see. He's won a World Series, 317 home runs. Does that work for you?
I can't give a definite answer. I can tell you that in my world, no, he's not a Hall of Famer because I believe it's for the elites. If it's the Hall of Pretty Good Players, which is where all the Hall of Fames have gone, I think he needs to be in there because, 260, he was a very good defensive catcher there for a pretty large segment of his career. It wasn't that, he was Mike Piazza and wasn't a very good catcher defensively, but Piazza put up the offensive numbers, so it didn't matter. I think he's a borderline player that wouldn't quite make it. I'd put Thurman Munson, who's not in there, ahead of Salvador Perez. And sorry to Munson, he died in a plane crash. That wasn't him. But Munson was arguably one of the best catchers at that time, through the 70s with the Yankees. He was a perennial all-star. It was him and Pudge Fisk battling as who is the best catcher, because at that point, Johnny Bench was starting to get old, and Johnny Bench was, this is the standard for what you need to be a Hall of Fame catcher. He had already set that, but I would put Thurman Munson in before I'd put Salvador Perez. But we're now at the Hall of Pretty Good Players.
I would love to know the percentage of baseball fans who just stopped everything and went, what? Thurman Munson's not in the Hall of Fame? Because that's one of those names you go, huh? Yeah. Neither's Don Mattingly. Okay, so Steve, the Blue Jays. Yesterday we'll start with the Royals. That's what we're talking about. Yesterday we made up our list of the wild card teams we've eliminated. We don't care about the math. We know we have eliminated the obvious of the Rockies, the Giants, the Mets, and Steve threw in the Reds from the National League, the American League Angels, obviously, the A's, and we put the Royals in there. That they're at. This is just as an aside. Are we ready yet to get rid of the Blue Jays? Really? There's 6 games back in the wild card. I mean, we don't have to. It's fine. And I'll tell you why it matters. There's 6 games back. The Tigers are 5 games back for the wild card. Meanwhile, Detroit is in 4th place in the American League Central at 6 games under 500. We're all waiting on the Treek-Skubal thing. I bring all of this up because Kansas City, Bobby Witt Jr.'s hurt. And they are going to Detroit to start a series tonight. Kansas City is throwing Randy Dubnak against Troy Melton in a series that matters to the Tigers. Doesn't mean anything to the Royals.
Yeah, and Dobnak's not very good. This is a spot start really for him. He's not a normal starter. He's got 1 start, 4 1/3 in his last, X amount of games. His whip is 1.85, but Melton for Detroit, he has really stepped up this year. He's had a great season. He was not expected to be a member of the starting rotation, nor the big contributor. He's 5-1. His ERA for the season's 1.8. His whip is 0.87. He's 1-0 in his last 3. His ERA in his last 3 adding 0.53. This guy has been a star. There's many in Detroit talking about him being able to step right in, pick up the slack with Skubal, with moving him, and they feel he is going to be one of those centerpieces for the Tigers for a long time. And it's a great find for the Tigers. And that's why I also think you need to move Skubal and get those pieces. because with Melton stepping up, you still got Casey Mize. I would lock him up. I don't think he's going to cost you that much money. But I'm going to throw a team that we've never mentioned into this for the Scooble sweepstakes. And I think the Philadelphia Phillies are going to enter into that sweepstakes as well. Dave Dombrowski's a big time trading GM. He's never afraid to trade prospects. And with Aaron Nola going out again and laying another egg, they know that he's not there. He Phillies have no chance if they have to throw him in the postseason. So I think they're looking for a top of the line, front of the line starting pitcher. And if it means they can steal him from the Braves and go on to win that division and give them a shot to make a run at the Dodgers, I think the Phillies are going to be in. And that's not a team I've heard that's connected with the possibility of Scooble.
Now, this series for the Tigers, playing Kansas City for 4 games through the weekend, it was one of those that we looked at and said, this is the kind of series that can really embolden Detroit. And that was before Bobby Witt Jr. was out. This is the kind of thing Detroit wins 3 or all 4, and suddenly their fans and everybody, they're salivating kind of thing. And people start to go, well, what if? We're on this roll. They will have to deal with the Royals. Will have to deal with Mize and Valdez this weekend as well, and whoever you said is stepping in and so I mean this could be a big one. I mean the Tigers could shoot up with one weekend.
They really do need to win 3 out of 4 here, and I know KC's winning a 3-game winning streak. Thank you, Giants, because the Giants aren't very good. So you can't put a whole lot of weight into that. Bobby Witt is out. That's the core of this lineup. So it's a good spot for Detroit, and they just need to make it happen.
Well, and I mean, you're playing Kansas City, and after tonight, you're throwing Scooble, Mize, and Valdez in order. You should win at least 3. If not tonight. Well.
And you're at home. You're a much better home team. You're 4 games above 500 at home. You're 10 games below 500 on the road. And KC on the road is 17-33. They're playing basically 335 baseball on the road. No excuses. That's how you make the playoffs. Win the games you're expected to win and don't lose to these really bad teams like the Royals are right now.
The Dodgers announced yesterday that Shohei threw a bullpen session prior to the game at Philadelphia. He'd been scheduled to start. However, his left knee irritation, which kept him out of the All-Star game, keeps pushing him back. They're not seeing improvement. Dave Roberts, the manager, yesterday went into the detail about why it's a pitching-caused injury. They were thrilled about what he did yesterday. Ohtani threw 30 pitches in the bullpen. Dodgers manager Dave Roberts called it, quote, a big sign. Went on to say the grass, the flat ground, all that stuff is good. The arm is fine. It's kind of just going down the slope, getting over your front side. That's the big test, end quote. And then he said they have no timetable for Shohei's return, and why should they? We've dove deep into this already. We've talked about moving the closer. What the Dodgers are up by 1 billion games or whatever the real number is. Why should they be in a hurry to bring Shohei back other than him?
Yeah, they shouldn't. They need to get him 100%, 11.5 game lead, and they can play 500 the rest of the season, which they won't do. They're far too good of a team, and they'll still win that division. They're focused on October. That's how this franchise is built. I love it as a fan. If you're a Dodgers fan, this is how you want all your sports teams built. The Dodgers are the class of sports, I believe, right now, and you don't need them. I have to believe, though, the front office in LA is saying what we were talking about yesterday is, how long are we really going to go here and have him be this two-way player? I know that's really what he wants to do, but we need him healthy. And Shohei's not winning the Cy Young now. I think with the time he's going to miss off of this injury, he's never going to get enough to put up a good enough year when you got the Chris Sales of the world, the Mizorowski's out there, even Christopher Sanchez back out one really bad outing in a regular season and forget it was an exhibition game with the All-Star game. There's too much competition. I don't think Shohei can win the Cy, which takes him out of that. That's his goal. He wants to be an MVP and win a Cy based on his pitching, statistics, not just I won the MVP because I do both. And that's a big part. And I think the Dodgers have to be considering backing them down a bit.
By the way, the Dodgers are off tonight, and then is it more fortuitous scheduling? They will start a weekend series tomorrow in New York, but not against the Yankees. Dodgers at Mets all weekend might be somewhat helpful. If you look at that American League West, you've got, we'll go to the Padres first, 14 and a half back. This is another team that for some reason Steve will not eliminate from the wild card race that I do not understand. They are only 3 games out of the wild card. I get that.
That's
But
why you can't. A
but
5-game winning streak,
really,
and chances are you're back in the playoffs in the wild card spot.
the Cubs, the Phillies, the Diamondbacks are in right now. The Padres have to go through the Cardinals, Pirates, Marlins, and Nationals with that 3 game. And they're the Padres. They stink. Yeah, yesterday I got to read the story we wanted to read the whole year about Machado and Tatis finally doing what they do. I just have no faith in it. But that's okay, Steve. It's all right. We just disagree. It's fine.
Okay, and let's break it down by division. So your wild card teams are the Cubs. Yes, Cubs should be in, and I really think they are one of the wild card teams. But then there's the Cardinals and the Pirates, all out of the same division. Really, you got to believe there's only going to be one team out of there because you're going to have the Phillies or the Braves as the other team. So you're looking at the Cardinals, Pirates, Cubs. Well, Cardinals and Pirates are going to be fighting for one spot. The Marlins and the Nationals are going to be fighting for that one spot. And if you're a Padre fan, you just look. I'm only focused on the Diamondbacks. That's the team I got to get ahead of, and then we can figure it out from there. So while they do have to jump a lot of different teams, they're going to be taking care of each other in their own division. So the Padres, as I said, the Tigers just got to worry about winning their division. Don't even look at the wild card. The Padres have to get ahead of the Diamondbacks, and then they can start worrying about the other teams.
Specious argument. I bring it up because pause on the Padres and look at the Braves, who now have a 4-game lead. They remember they had like what, an 11-game lead at one point. 4-game lead over those Phillies that we keep mentioning, and these two teams, certainly one of them, or maybe viable playoff contenders. They go at it starting tonight in Atlanta. San Diego will throw Griffin Canning, and Atlanta will throw the aforementioned Chris Sale. Again, big series for both teams.
Yes, but the game has already been played. The game is final. The Braves won 6-5. Chris Sale gave up 3 runs in the first, looked very shaky, turned it around. I know last I looked, he was at 10 Ks. But one of the things that worried me about this Braves team is they went up 6-3 late in the game. Their bullpen gave it up again. Today, they were up, I think it was 7-1 yesterday. Their bullpen gave it up. And that makes me wonder, the Braves got to do something with the bullpen. They have Iglesias at the back, and he's been outstanding, but they need to get some support in front of that. But I fall back to Tariq Skubal. Braves, Phillies, wouldn't that put whoever were to get him on their team a serious challenge to the Dodgers? And you got to believe whichever one of those two teams got added Skubal to the rotation, that they should end up winning that division and then being the team that challenges the Dodgers. And if they can beat the Dodgers, well, the American League doesn't look like it's going to put up much of a fight. So they could be world champions. Don't you push your chips in if you're the Braves or the Phillies to try to make that World Series championship run?
Yes, you have to. Yes, those two teams, I absolutely agree. They are the. You could throw the Brewers in there. They're the
ownership, everything they've done, their whole business model doesn't fall into. I agree. I'd love to see the Brewers do it, and if they ever did, I would be both as surprised as anyone ever. But 2, I'd be so happy for their fan base and the team to finally make the commitment to go make it. The last time we saw the Brewers make any kind of commitment to this was when they went out and they traded for CC Sabathia. I think they got a little bit of a bad taste because he finished it up. They didn't win a World Series or even go to the World Series. And then CC went off to the Yankees, and they're like, look what we gave up, and we didn't accomplish our goal.
We mentioned there's 5 games in all of Major League Baseball. One of them's over, as Steve reported. The Braves beat the Padres. The other one is almost over, or is it? The Minnesota Twins are 5 games back in the American League Central. They're in 3rd place. In that wild card race, they're 3 games back, with the Yankees, the Guardians, the Red Sox leading the way in, and then you got the Mariners, the Orioles, and there's those Twins. and they are in Cleveland right now. They are tied at 1 going into the bottom of the ninth. As in Cleveland, they've got to stay there with the White Sox as well.
Yeah, they scored in the top of the eighth to make it 1-0. Great game. This is a game you and I would love to watch. 4 hits for the Twins, 3 hits
Yep.
for the Guardians in a 1-1 tie this late. I think we'd both be disappointed when the ninth inning ends and it's 1-1 because I think we both dislike the way they play the extra innings in Major League Baseball. I hate the softball rules of let's throw a runner on second base, but it's been a great pitching performance by both Gavin Williams and Bradley for the Twins. And it's a shame because the Twins ownership, they're going to go into sell mode. We know it. I believe Byron Buxton's going to go to the biggest price that's out there. Joe Ryan's going to get moved on as well. And as a Twins fan, it's going to be disappointing, but they're not going anywhere. And neither are the Guardians either, though. So,
well, I mean, the Guardians are going to get to the postseason. You're just saying they'll fizzle there. They don't have the leg room or the arm room to go anywhere. You believe?
Yeah, the last time they had that shot was years and years ago when they were up against the Red Sox, and I want to say they were up 3. No, sorry, that was the Tigers. Sorry, Guardians also in that, I believe in that same one was up in their opening series against the Red Sox. They gave it away. They never perform in the World Series. They made a run in 16 against the Cubs, pushed Game 7 into extra innings, but they just, what's it been since 1950 something that the last time they won a World Series?
A couple other games that are going on today or will go on. One more that is currently going on, American League East. The Tampa Bay Rays, first place. They've won 3 in a row. They've got a 2.5 game lead over the Yankees, a 13.5 game lead over the last place Toronto Blue Jays. Yeah, they were in the World Series last year. Meanwhile, Toronto is just ahead of the A's in the wild card race, 6.5 back behind the Tigers, Astros, Twins, Orioles, Mariners. Moving up, and that game is 1-0 right now. The Blue Jays are in the lead, and if I'm seeing Ian Seymour, nope. That would be Shane Bieber for Toronto has a perfect game through 1 inning.
Yes, and Ian Seymour is going to be the bulk pitcher for Tampa Bay today. They started with the opener, I don't know, like Kumina, something like that, who went the first inning just to mess with the starting lineup. But Ian Seymour is going to come in. He's been really good for the Rays to this point. He's 2-2. His whip is 1.15 for the season, but he has struggled a little bit as of late, which is probably why he's into this bulk innings and not the opener. Shane Bieber has been a disaster so far since he's come back, except for his last game. I believe his last game, he had a great outing. He's hoping to build off of that as well and continue going. And this is why I can't put the Blue Jays out of it. If they can get Gausman on track, if they can get Shane Bieber on track, they already got Dylan Cease, you got Savage. They have the starting pitching to be a really competitive team, but they need Bieber to be back to they don't need him to be back to that elite pitcher he used to be. They just need to be for him to be pretty good. And Gausman back to the Kevin Gausman that we've known over the last, several years. Get that pitcher back, and that will keep the Blue Jays in the games.
We talked earlier about the Royals. They're going to be at Detroit for the weekend, and Detroit's possibility of throwing. They are throwing tomorrow. Skubal and then Mize and then Valdez over the Royals, who are hurt and in last place. So the only other game we haven't talked about that's getting played today, and it starts in about an hour and 50 minutes rather. It's 2 teams we've referenced multiple times. We'll start with the Arizona Diamondbacks. They are in second place in the National League West. They're 11.5 behind the Dodgers. Even if the Diamondbacks pulled off a Red Sox-like streak, I don't think the Dodgers are threatened, but you've got that wild card where the Diamondbacks have it right now, as do the Phillies, and then you've got the Cardinals, who are right below the Diamondbacks for the National League West wild card, because the Cardinals, they're 11.5 back, third place behind the Brewers and the Cubs in the Central. Cardinals are in it. Diamondbacks are in it. They go head to head, Steve, today. It is Brandon What?
Fod.
Sure, if you say so. Fod beginning with a P against Michael McGreevy for the Cardinals.
And this has been two surprise pitchers for these two teams so far this season. Arizona right now is playing really good baseball. They're 8-2 in their last 10. I think they've won their last two games. Fod's sitting at 4-1 of the season. ERA a little under 4, but his WHIP is at 1.14, and he's really been good as of late. He's won all three of his last outings with an ERA sitting at 2.4 and a WHIP right around 1. For the Cardinals, McGreevy's been a surprise. This is a young pitcher who's had a really good year. Don't look at the record. The record's 4-7 on the season, but his ERA is under 3. His WHIP has been sitting at 1.1. He is 1-1 in his last 3 outings, ERA of 2. He finds ways to get out of trouble. He's not one of my favorite pitchers. He's one of those very fortunate pitchers to this point this season. Puts a lot of base runners on base, but he finds a way to get out of those jams, which is a credit to him for knowing how to pitch. Cardinals have come back down to earth. I think they're 4-10 in their last 10 games. They've had a great season. Jordan Walker, we saw him display that power in the home run derby, but this is a good young team that was rebuilding. And the fact that they're still sitting in the wild card race, only a half a game out at this point in the season, is a tribute to what they're doing and how they're building this team, which is why even when they're in a rebuild, they're still one of the better teams out there. Cardinals are a class organization, always have been. And this is going to be a good series as they battle for that wild card. Arizona's the hot team right now, but St. Louis just keeps scrapping away.
And earlier, you laid out your plan for how the Padres can get the wild card. So right now, out of the West, right now today, neither of these teams is winning their division. With what we know, St. Louis, Arizona are either, neither, or one of them right now today, in your opinion, making, when it's all said and done, the postseason.
I think Arizona has a chance, but I don't think they will. I do. The Braves are going to be, or the Phillies will be one wild card. The Cubs or the Brewers. Well, the Brewers are going to win it, so the Cubs are going to be that other wild card. And I still think the Pirates are the team that's going to sneak in there. They have so much good young talent. I keep bringing this up, but they really do, and I like them. They got the pitching depth that some of these other teams don't have. I think the Pirates are the best team to be the third wild card.
So neither was your answer. Neither the Diamondbacks or the Cardinals.
Yeah,
in the end, right?
In the end, I don't think either one's going to make it.
Rob and Steve continue next, only on the radnetwork.com.
The first time Corey walked into my home, I came around the corner, extended my right hand to shake it, and said to him, "Wow, you're big." And that would be Corey from QuickDumpsters.com. Quick is spelled wrong intentionally. Quick, Q-U-I-K Dumpsters.com. That's QuickDumpsters.com. Corey's yet another maggot launching his own locally owned and operated business, and boy, did I need him, and really we all do. Things pile up, you get frustrated, you keep saying, "We need to make a dump run." Pretty soon it's more than a dump run, and now you need to rent a truck or have one of those ugly upside-down box cars parked in front of your house that you fill up yourself. Or you do like I did, you call Corey at QuickDumpsters.com. In my case, my house had fallen into complete disarray as my late wife Christina had lost her 2-year battle with congestive heart failure, and amongst the many things left were gathering her things and finding what to donate, what had to just go in that pile of stuff where we were both going, "Why did we ever buy this?" And it all could have been so overwhelming had Corey not just walked in, taken charge, and removed dozens of boxes of total junk, unusable dog kennels, desks that were falling apart, a worthless old smoker that couldn't be fixed, bag after bag of crap, and I can't remember what else. He was quick, spelled wrong, Q-U-I-K, quiet, and clean. Well, he wasn't clean. I mean, he was. But I'm not commenting on his hygiene. I meant that his work was clean. He swept everything when he was done, and the house looked like he'd never even been there. Corey's the real deal, and I couldn't be more proud and happy to call him a brand new advertiser. His story is incredible, his dedication unmatched, and his motivation to succeed larger than he is, and that's saying something. Quotes are free. You don't even have to have them over to your house. Just send him some pics or videos, and you'll get your price, schedule your day and time, and watch someone else get that junk out of your house. Go to quickdumpsters.com. Quick, Q-U-I-K, dumpsters.com. Quick, Q-U-I-K, dumpsters.com. Longtime maggots will remember Greg from MAP, M-A-P, as in Maximum Athletic Performance, which guides you to better output through better ingredients, also known as nutrition. Greg has been on the Rad Show many times and will be again, as he simplifies nutrition and helps us all understand what actually works when it comes to fueling our bodies, almost all of which can be found at maptrition.com. Every product is formulated with clinical precision and backed by science and purpose, and maptrition.com has something for every fitness level, even those of us who barely have a fitness level. With nearly 20 years as a nutritionist and a specialization in sports nutrition, Greg works with athletes and everyday individuals to optimize performance, energy, and overall health through smarter fueling strategies, all of which starts at maptrition.com. At the very least, we should all be taking daily multivitamins, and Greg has his formulated for exactly what a man or woman's body needs. Protein is in, but maybe instead of getting yours from mac and cheese with extra protein, you get it from maptrition.com. And of course, all things workout, training, and exercise are available as well. From pre-workout to creatine and other muscle builders to recovery supplements and more, all at maptrition.com. From morning breakfast essentials to post-workout recovery and everything in between, maptrition.com's full range of supplements, proteins, and wellness products are built to power your journey from start to finish. Check out all the products and find what's right for you and order it shipped to you all at maptrition.com. That's maptrition.com.
At the Rob and Steve Sports Show, we only support responsible sports betting and gambling. With that said, according to Rob's favorite Chinese restaurant, your lucky numbers today are 12, 14, 17, 20, 28, and 36. Good luck. Email us your results at ras@theradnetwork.com.
Back to the NFL, also back to yesterday a little bit. We were talking about this article that came out. I think it was ESPN. They got all their NFL heads together, and they were going through their list of the NFL teams' odds of crashing the playoff field this year. Meaning, you got 32 teams in the NFL. 14 make the playoffs, 18 don't. So, from the 18 that didn't make the playoffs last year, which ones are most likely to make the play? It's that simple. They don't have to finish last. They just didn't make the playoffs, but they will this year. I referenced it because we were moving into a story about Steve's Detroit Lions, which seems like such an obvious pick. Lions didn't make the playoffs, technically finished last. They're going this year. And the Ravens, which seems smart. And when we did our schedule, Ravens are going to have a hell of a year if we're right about with the scheduling and the teams that they played. So those two, they seem obvious. Before we go to the other ones, can we agree, Steve, on the other end of the spectrum? Of the 18 that didn't make the playoffs, do we agree Arizona has no chance this year to crash the party?
Yes, no chance. I have them last in my power ratings.
Miami, they're not going to the postseason.
No, they're not going.
The Jets and the Browns, they're not going.
Jets and the Browns are not going.
And Raiders. The Raiders aren't going. Even with our fun scenario earlier of Kirk Cousins lights out.
Yeah, I think those are the 5 teams that, you know, you could make them $1 million to 1, and I probably still wouldn't put a $5 future bet down on them because it'd just be lighting my money on fire.
Perfect. Because that's why I drew the line there, because the other ones you could make an argument for, but yeah, odds-wise, they're still going to be on the bottom of the list. So we'll go back to the beginning of it. They didn't make the playoffs last year. They will this year. Ravens, Lions, they put them in there. Next on their list, I don't know, you have to memorize. I don't know if do you have a third in your mind because you have to have the list in front of you? Because I had one immediately, and they're next. They're fourth. They're not third on their list here.
I can tell you a team right now that that didn't make the playoffs, and I have them ninth in my power rating, is the Bengals. And we have them like winning 13 games, I think 12, 13
That
games.
that was the team when I saw the headline that I immediately
Yeah.
thought of after the Ravens and the Lions. They're fourth, most likely. So they're behind the number 3 team, which the number 3 team most likely to make the playoffs that didn't last year. They don't match up with our predictions based on the schedule. Although I don't think it's a horrible pick. It's high. Third, the Buccaneers the committee said they're most likely to have not made the playoffs last year from the South, obviously, and because only one team's going this year, and they're the ones.
And that whole division, I think they had them 7-10 in the predictions.
Yeah.
We have it as the Saints, so I would just substitute out and say the Bucks to the Saints. And I'll tell you, right now in my power ranking, I got the Buccaneers at 24th in my power rating. So I don't have them making the playoffs. I think in the season win total, when we went over it, I think I had Tampa Bay at 6 wins. It might have been 7, but I don't think I had them higher than 7 wins.
Yeah, I don't have it in front of me. That's my. You might have had. We might have had them at 6.
I thought we did.
But that's an interesting storyline. Assuming things stay as they are, we got a month ish. Well, when did Baker call? Did Baker say the beginning of the season? I'm not talking anymore, or did he say camp? Because it had to be the beginning of the season. So if he doesn't have a contract, he's quote playing for his contract. And wouldn't it be interesting if he had a meltdown, horrible year as opposed to the traditional? I've got everybody on my back because I want to make $60 million next year. That would be an interesting storyline where the Bucks do as bad as we think they're going to do.
Yes, and I was reading a source yesterday, maybe the day before, that had Baker Mayfield, and they believe he's going to sign. They think the agreement's going to end up being a 3-year, $165 million contract. So he will be pulling in $55 million a year. They did not say if they expect it to be guaranteed. I would expect it to be guaranteed, but if that's the case, Baker, great job. You just pulled off $55 million a year. I didn't think you could fully pull it off, but if that's what it's going to end up being. So I'm curious to see if that holds true.
Yeah, I look, I don't begrudge them any. That's great. It seems like they're overpaying, particularly if it's all guaranteed, but we'll wait for those details. Other teams that they have on their list, ESPN and their panel of experts that didn't make the playoffs last year but will this year. Next up was, so after they had the Buccaneers third and the Bengals fourth. I think both of us would have put the Bengals third most likely. But next up are the Chiefs.
Yep.
Remember, they didn't go to the postseason last year. And then the Cowboys round out the top 6 teams most likely to go to the playoffs that didn't go last year. Now, the Cowboys and the Chiefs, too, these are interesting with the power of the West. I think we had the Chiefs at like 10-7 this year when we did our predictions. And is that enough to get them into the wild card? The Cowboys, they're not like the Buccaneers. It's not like there's only one team that's going to come out of the East in theory. The Eagles, when we went over their schedule, we were amazed at how friendly the Eagles' schedule is. And we don't know what the Commanders are going to look like. You don't really know what the Giants are going to look like with Harbaugh. I'm not sure I would put the Cowboys that high up as likely.
I think on my power ratings that I have the Cowboys. I have the Chiefs. Yes, that was one more. But I think I had the Cowboys as my 6th. Now, to put that in perspective, they are 16th. They're middle of the pack in my power ranking. I have them as the 16th best team in the NFL. So it just shows I have a lot of teams that made the playoffs ahead of them if they turn into the 6th non-playoff team. For me.
Now it's July 23rd. Will these power rankings, how often will you update them? When will you change them again?
As information comes in, when you see the injuries and things that go on, I don't think there's any signings that are out there that is going to affect it. But and I don't put that much weight into preseason either. So unless there's an injury, this is what I'm rolling into week 1. And then every week, come Monday morning, Tuesday morning, they will get adjusted because you use these also for point spreads and what you think the line should be.
Short of injuries, a major trade like the rumored Max Crosby to the Niners thing. I guess the other thing, if you got word in the next 6 weeks, if we got word Josh Jacobs is out for the year, he's suspended, whatever, something because he's got all sorts for the Packers, I would gotta believe that would move the needle a little bit. those kind of things.
Yes, that would for me that would move the Packers down and it would move the Bears up slightly because I think they would be one of the beneficiaries of Josh Jacobs not playing. I don't know how much it affect the Lions. I already have them. I think at the 13 wins. I think the Lions have the schedule and everything in place to have a great season. So it would lower the Packers. It would raise the Bears if Josh Jacobs was suddenly not going to play this year.
It has been interesting this week watching the segue on sports media, ESPN, Fox Sports, and then online with various websites and stuff, to watch the sports media get giddy over the fact the NFL now, you can really start talking and speculating, and World Cup is over. We're just waiting for LeBron. Hockey, they don't pay attention to it anyways. Baseball, dog days, even though there's plenty to. I mean, some of them were even effusive about, I'm so excited because we're now less than 50 days until opening day. And now that you can see it, you can feel it, it's coming, and people are getting more and more excited because that's all we're doing here. We're just speculating out of nowhere with power rankings in the middle of July. Not that you don't know what you're doing, but this is what we do as fans. And there's an excitement about it.
I'm getting everything geared up for the football season. This is my work now, and I'm loving every bit of it. I think we're 49 days or whatever it is to opening day of the NFL season, and like 38, 39 days for college football. So it's right around the corner. I love baseball, still enjoying it very much, watching multiple games every night, but I'm getting that itch and starting to work. I'm even, to tell you, I've even been setting up hockey because not done anything with NBA. I'm not there, but I've even been getting excited for the upcoming hockey season, and I'm starting to do some preliminary work with the NHL as well.
Have a great day. We're back tomorrow.
This has been a presentation of the Rob and Steve Sports Show, brought to you by the Rad Network and is copyrighted by the radnetwork.com and Williams Broadcasting for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction, accounts, or descriptions of whatever Rob and Steve just talked about without the express permission of the Rad Network, Williams Broadcasting,